Greetings, everyone, and a warm welcome to a brand new month. You are joining me for another exciting episode of my weekend series dedicated to the art of price action based technical analysis. As we gear up for the upcoming trading week, our first primary of focus is going to be on the XAUUSD chart, a market where we made remarkable gains, securing over 400 pips ahead of the NFP data last week Friday. Interestingly, the NFP data came in below expectations, suggesting a potential ease in labor market conditions. If you missed last week's commentary and would like to review it for educational purposes, you can find the link in the description box below or at the top right hand corner of your screen if you are watching on my YouTube channel. In this episode, we will be delving into the current market structure from a technical perspective, blending our analysis with key fundamental factors that may influence the price of gold in the coming week. Armed with our fundamental tools such as trend lines, key levels, and chart patterns, we aim to unravel the potential trajectory of price action in the days to come. But before we proceed, please note that this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. My aim is to provide you with insight into the XAUUSD charts and enhance your understanding of price action analysis. Forex trading inherently carries risk, so always exercise caution and consider consulting a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Now, given that the market participants are now factoring in a 95% chance that the US Federal Reserve will maintain rates in the month of December, how do we plan to capitalize on the unfolding price action in the coming week? So let's get down to the business and uncover the opportunities that lies ahead. So what we are going to be doing here is to start our analysis on the daily time frame, where the setup we have here has really not had any significant change compared to what we had last week. So the current structure we have here indicates that since price action tested the highest point for this year around the $2,070 area, that was about 3 or 4 months ago, we saw price action nosedive, finding lower highs in that regard, giving us a beautiful descending trend line to work with ahead of the upcoming week. However, one thing very significant about this current market structure is the fact that price action did break out of that descending trend line during the mid-month of October back into another very important level at the $2,010 area, which I think I will be using as my key level for this week. And if you will ask me why this is so, well, if we go to as far back as the month of March, we saw how this level at some point was serving as a selling niche in this market. As you will see, we saw a little bit of consolidation phase there before price finally did break down the structure in the month of May. And in the last couple of weeks, we saw how price gradually climbed back into this area. And in fact, in the last 7 days, you will see how it had become difficult for buyers to break through that $2,010 zone, hereby emphasizing the strength of the sellers around this area. Now, from my own perspective, considering the impulsive move that broke out of that descending trend line, are we likely going to be seeing a situation where continuous selling pressure will persist below the $2,010 level, just like it has done in the past, to incite the retracement of that impulse leg, maybe back into that demand zone around the 1,900 area, which interestingly shares a confluence with a retest of that descending trend line, maybe to incite an uptrend continuation. However, If price action will break out of the $2,010 mark, then this might likely incite an uptrend continuation. Now, with the information we have gathered here and considering the continued selling pressure around the $2,010 area, I would like us to scale down into the lower time frame to see how I was able to factor in a trading setup that we will be using to guide our trading decisions for this week. Now, before we scale down into the lower time frame, it's very important that we take a quick look at the economic calendar so that we can factor in the fundamental factors that may likely affect this market going into the new week. And of course, you all know how these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can identify potential correlations between key economic releases and specific technical patterns on the chart, hereby giving us valuable information that will make us position ourselves in such a way that we can capitalize on any potential move prior, during, and even after this economic event. Now, based on the asset we are looking at right now, which is the gold, we are going to be looking at economic futures from the US economic docket for the new week. And in fact, when I brought this out, high impact event, I was able to come up with two high impact event from the US economic docket. Now, the first one here is coming in on Wednesday, November 8th, where we shall be looking forward to the first German speech, a very important event that holds considerable influence over financial markets. His remarks here will provide insight into the central bank's outlook on the economy, potential policy shifts, and interest rate changes, hereby impacting our decisions and, of course, market sentiment. Then on Friday, November 10, we have the publications from the University of Michigan, that is the Consumer Sentiment Index, another very important event that everyone will be looking forward to. And of course, we know that as technical traders, the anticipation of this event alone has a tendency of influencing the market sentiment, which in the long run will reflect on the chart as price action. Now, talking about price action, let's scale down into the 4 hours time frame where I was able to identify a simple setup. Now, what I did on the 4 hours time frame was to take into consideration the nature of price action since the beginning of the month of October. And it's quite clear that price action has been very, very bullish since throughout the month of October. As you will see, after connecting the series of higher lows here, I was able to spot a couple of ascending trend lines which we will be using to guide our decisions for this week. So we have the temporary one and I have the major one right here, which is the thick one you can see right here. So, and you know how we use our ascending trend lines in this community. As long as price remains above the ascending trend line, we will continue to look out for patterns and structures that support the idea of buying that asset. Now, in addition to that ascending trend line is the fact that in the last 2 to 3 weeks, you will see how price action, or let me say how the trading activity has been confined within a specific range between the $2,010 mark, which happens to be my key level for this week, and the $1,970 zone, to emphasize the level of indecision in this particular market. And of course, you know how we do it in this community. Whenever price action falls into an indecisive phase where it forms a channel, we do want to exercise patience and wait for significant signals in the form of the breakout of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. Now, with the way things are going right now, it's very important to note that we are at a very crucial juncture in this market where patience is required, waiting for significant confirmations to join any potential move. However, considering the escalating tension in the Middle East, which of course will favor safe haven assets such as the gold, I will still continue to hold on to a bullish bias. And technically, you will see on this chart that we have a beautiful demand zone just right within the 1970 and the 1,955, which had negated all attempts by the sellers to break through that area throughout the second half of the month of October, hereby emphasizing the potential that buyers still have a say in this particular market. So if I want to consider buying here, I want price to remain above the ascending trend line, where a further breakout of the $2,010 level, taking out all the sell positions there to give me an opportunity to join an uptrend move. However, in as much as I'm looking out for buying opportunities in this market, we cannot ignore the potentials of sellers. As you will see that during the last trading week of last month, we saw our selling pressure had always resumed around that $2,010 area to emphasize that sellers are trying to push price to the downside. And if this persists, then we might start considering selling if price action will break down this ascending trend line. And remember that we will need some confirmations that will validate that this is not a false breakdown, where a retest of structure will be all we need to capitalize on the downtrend move. And in fact, if price action does take out all the buy positions within the zone here, then this might likely lead to a massive sell-off to the downside. So these are my views here on the XAUUSD for this week, and I will be pausing this video at this point. But trust me, I will be with you in the comment section on Monday morning after monitoring how participants in the market will be reacting to this current structure around this area to give us an insight into where price will be going for this week. If you have found this content helpful and useful in making your independent trading decisions, I would greatly appreciate your support by giving the video a thumbs up. Your likes are valuable to me and helps the algorithm promote the video to a wider audience of traders who may find this material beneficial. Thank you in advance for doing so. If you haven't already, I encourage you to follow me on this channel for more of this content. By subscribing, you would always stay updated with the latest ideas I share, and of course receive notifications whenever I upload new videos and commentaries. See you all in the comment section on Monday morning as we get prepared for the new week. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye-bye.